Hello everyone, and welcome to your next theory lesson. Today we're going to be talking about the 2/4 and 3/4 time signatures, as you see noted here. Now, these two lessons are relatively quick. There's just a few important facts that you need to know. So let's start with the time signature. Both of these two time signatures have two numbers. There's the number on the top, and then there's the number that's below it on the bottom. The top number of any time signature tells us how many beats per measure. How many beats per measure, right? And then the bottom number of any time signature tells us what type of note receives one beat. What type? Okay, what type of note receives one beat? So if we break this down, 2/4, basically what we're saying, there are 2 beats per measure, and the 4, anytime we see a 4 on the bottom, that's telling us that the quarter note, right, this guy right here, equals 1. That's the thing that's getting 1 beat. It could also mean that a quarter rest equals 1. All right, so either of those two things. So if we apply the same logic to 3/4, that means that there are 3 beats per measure, and still the quarter note or the quarter rest equals 1. Either of those two things. All right. So just if we put this on a staff, just so you can see what's going on here. If we put that on a staff, we always start with our clef. There'll be something else in the middle, but then if we put a 3/4 and just like 2 measures to work with, that means we can have up to 3 beats per measure. So we could have a quarter note, and a quarter note, right? Remember, stems go down if we're on the third line or below or above. Stems go down. So we could have 3 quarter notes, or we could have something else that adds up to that. Now, here are the important things, or the extra important things. If we're in 2/4 and we want to fill up a whole measure, we can use a half note, right? We would use a half note, not the whole note, right? In 4/4 time, we use a whole note for that. But in 2/4, a half note would fill up a full measure of time, right? So talking like this, for on the staff there, a half note could fill up, and that stem should be down, right? I just drew it before I drew the staff. So if we're trying to fill up a full measure with rests, and I know it's not pretty, but in 2/4, we want to use a whole rest, right? So not a half rest, a whole rest. This whole rest in 2/4 would equal 2 beats. All right, same thing over here. So if I draw another staff to work with, 5 lines, right? Clef, and then a 3/4, and I want to fill up a full measure of time. We'll get to that with notes here in just a little bit. But if I want to fill up the whole thing with a rest, I also use a whole rest. So this would be worth 3 beats. So what's important to note is that this whole rest here, all right, this guy, and I exaggerated the size, but it can equal 2, or 3, or 4, right? That's the important thing. So if I want to fill up a full measure of time in 3/4 with rest, it's a whole rest. In 2/4, it's a whole rest. In 4/4 would also be a whole rest. Okay? So here's some exercises. Now we're going to do 2 of these today. So I'm going to ask you to pause your video twice. All right, here's your first set. I'll zoom in just a little bit. Go ahead and pause your video, complete them by yourself, and then when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, here's number 1. Complete the measures using notes and rests, count and clap. So it'd be good practice to count and clap. If we fill it in with those, we could put a quarter note there. That's 2 beats, right? We're in 2/4, so we need 2 beats. If we want to use another note, we'll say that's a half. Sorry, there should be an opening there. It doesn't quite look like it. We could put a quarter rest here, quarter rest, quarter note, and then if we want to use a rest, put that whole rest there. Okay? Question 2. Circle the measures with incorrect number of beats. So time signature says we have 2/4, which means we need 2 beats per measure. 1, 2, so that one's good, check. 1. This is worth 2 though, so 1, 2, 3. So that's one we need to circle. Whole rest, it works for 2/4, so that's good. Half note, that's worth 2 beats, correct. We have 3 beats again, 1, 2, 3, so that would be one we need to circle. And then same thing here, 1, 2, 3, so we circle that. Draw bar lines and a double bar in the correct places, count and clap. So we can always start with that double bar, we'll put it at the very ends, right? 2 lines, one thick, one thin, and then we add bar lines based on the 2/4, which means we need 2 beats in each bar. So bar, 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 2 beats, 2 beats, 2 beats, and then 2 beats. All right. Question 4. Rewrite the 4/4 music line in 2/4 on the staff below. Write the names of the notes below the staff. So all it's wanting us to do is to copy this down first. So if I do that, I get these 2 quarter notes, and I get a half note, and a half note, then quarter, 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 and then quarter, quarter, half. Sorry, that should be a half note. Sorry. Formatting stems. Remember, if it is below the 3rd line, the stems go up on the right. If it's on the 3rd line or above, they go down on the left. Now, instead of having 4/4, we want to make it 2/4. So that means 2 beats per measure. 2, 2, 2. That's another half note. Sorry, the marker makes it a little harder. 2 beats, and then 2 beats, and then there's that other half note. Write the names of the notes below the staff. So we should have G, G, A, D, B, G, G, A, D, B, G. All right, there's the first one. Same thing here. Let's do some quick work in 3/4 time. So pause your video and you complete it. When you come back, we'll do it together. Okay. Question 1. Complete the measures using 1 note or rest, count and clap. So 1 note or 1 rest. So this needs a rest, so we put a quarter rest. That's worth 3, 1, 2, 3. Remember, we're in 3/4 time, which means we have 3 beats per measure. What's another rest? 1, 2, so we need another quarter rest. A note's worth 2, because this is only worth 1, so we put a half note here. A rest here worth 1, right? 1, 2, 3. A note worth 2, so half note, 1, 2, 3. And then a note worth 1, so quarter note. All right. Circle the measures with the incorrect numbers of beats. So we have 3/4, which means we have 3 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3. Good. Whole rest always applies in 3/4, 2/4, and 4/4, so that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's incorrect. 1, 2, 3. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's incorrect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Incorrect. Question 3. In the example below, draw bar lines and a double bar in the correct places, count and clap. So we'll start with the double bar. I like to do that first, just so I can judge how far things should be. Double bar, and then we need every 3 beats we add a bar line. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a whole rest there at the ends. Okay? Exercise 4. We'll do 1 step at a time. Add the note stems, bar lines, and double bar. Add whole rests where appropriate. So let's do our double bar first here at the ends. Nice thick line and then a thinner line. All right. Note stems, so we can do that. We'll just add them to each. So if it's above the 3rd line, they go down on the left. Down, down. Below the 3rd line, these belong to the treble clef, so they would go up on the right. Down, up, up, down, down, up, up. All right, so we did note stems, we need to do bar lines. Okay, so you can kind of see if you look at it that every 3 beats we need to add a bar line, right? So 1, 2, 3, that would work here because it's also a whole rest, so good. 1, 2, 3, line, 1, 2, 3, line, 1, 2, 3. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Line. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Good. Now it says at whole rests where appropriate. So see these empty spaces? That's where the whole rest would go. So remember they hang from the 4th line in the middle. That one there, 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 and there. All right, whole rests. Letter B, write the beats below the grand staff and count and clap. Now this is not something we've done yet, but I'm going to show you today. For beats below the staff, generally what they're going to do for this, it would just be 3 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because every single measure has 3 beats, right? All right, there we go, 3 beats. Write the names of the notes below the beats. So this is an F, right? And then we have an E. Up here we have C to B, C, B. You see how I'm lining them up with the beats too? Right, F is with beat 1. Here we have a B, and then an A, B and an E. Up here's another B above the staff, and then a G, and then we have an F. All right, there's that. As always, if you have questions, rewind the video, or you can ask me in class. Thanks a lot.